run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Yeah.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. This is Run It Back. We got Boogie, Lou, Chandler. My name's Michelle. What hat are we wearing today, Chandler?
Oh, just a red champion hat.
Oh my God. I've never been more regretful for asking a question in my entire life.
I honestly don't know the brand, but
shut up. That's just it's a random champion hat.
Can't you just say, you know what, your hat game is really strong, and I respect that you wear a different hat every Zoom show.
That's what I meant to say.
Ain't nothing, my boy.
What do you say, Lou?
That hat ain't nothing right there. Let's go.
Should I turn it around? Jesus,
No.
I didn't know I was walking into a roast.
Well, I didn't know we couldn't ad-lib here. I won't do it again. What's up, Boogie? You had a day yesterday. People loved everything that you had to say yesterday. I hope you saw the internet giving you your props.
Yeah. I'm glad people can appreciate honesty. So
it was a good day.
As bad as we thought.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right, so we got a lot to talk. By the way, the drama doesn't end, and it's a lot of Shams reporting. So we're gonna get right into it because the Giannis of it all reported yesterday that he and his agent have started conversations with the Bucks about his future, figuring out what his best fit is, whether or not he's going to go somewhere. They're going to figure out a resolution, and that would come in coming weeks, which makes me sound kind of excited. Asset-wise, we're not really sure what that's going to look like, and we'll get into some of the other reports that are coming alongside that. However, Boogie, were you even shocked at this point to hear that he and his agent have actually started these conversations?
No, I'm not shocked. I think it's on the table at this point. It's pretty obvious that, this isn't a healthy situation moving forward as far as winning games, being productive, and, competing for a championship. When you speak on Giannis, all of those things are attached to his name whenever he, joins your organization. So we know what he brings every night, every season. We know what his expectations are, and, him and Milwaukee just aren't on the same page. So I don't think this will be a messy breakup. I think both sides have a strong respect for one another, just with everything they've been through, the relationship, winning a championship together. I think it's a great mutual respect between both sides. And the fact that they're willing to, help him go exactly where he wants to go and work out a deal that'll work for, him and themselves at the end of the day. Like I said, that's a great sign of respect. So, hopefully this goes smoothly. Both sides can, go on with their life and, be successful. But, I think it's time. It's really no other answer. It's just time to make this happen.
Yeah. And listen, it's not a great situation as far as realistic championship goals this season, right? That's obvious with the look of this roster and the way that they're performing. So if with that being said, I'm fully shopping him and hearing any and all offers to see how I can not go into full rebuild mode. And Giannis is a guy that's going to bring in a boatload of assets, picks, starting caliber level players in that trade. So no doubt in my mind, he has had conversations with his agent. I bet you these conversations have been going on, marking back to last year when the whole Middleton trade went down. What's my future look like here? What's our next move here? What else are we going to bring in here to build a team around me? So you constantly have conversations with your agent. Now, whether those conversations are going to the front office and ownership and the coaching staff, that's a different story. I believe Doc, when he says last night after the game, he talks to Giannis every day, and Giannis has never once asked for a trade. He's never once said he doesn't like or want to be in Milwaukee. So I also believe Doc when he says that. Now, this losing keeps happening, and I believe him that right now those conversations haven't happened. That doesn't mean they're not going to start happening with the way this season's going. So they're kind of in limbo. I think Giannis is that main, obviously, trade asset that they have where they can kind of get back so much that they don't have to go into full rebuild mode. But it'll be interesting to see what a guy like him brings in. But if I'm Milwaukee, I'm listening to everything because this team as it is isn't enough.
Yeah, for me, it was just good for them to officially say, look, we're going to start having conversations opposed to us speculating or trying to figure out, does he want to get traded? Is he getting traded? It was good to hear all sides at least speak about it, from Doc Rivers saying, look, as far as I'm concerned, as the coach of the team, I haven't heard him say he wants to be traded. He's been focused on doing what's needed for the Milwaukee Bucks up until this point. And then to counter that, you hear the agent come out and say, you know, we're having conversations about his future along with the organization. So put all the speculation aside. It was good for them to actually announce that, put that information out there so everybody can move forward accordingly, you know. But what's going on with Giannis and the Bucks organization, this is rare. Like you don't see this very often where a team is working side by side with one of their best players to figure out if their future is best in Milwaukee or is it best somewhere else. And we're going to work side by side where, you know, whatever decision is made, it works for both sides of the coin. You know, that's a very rare thing that you see around the league. So, you know, kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks organization for even being open and honest and public about having that conversation with Giannis and his representatives and seeing where it goes from there.
Yeah, this is exactly the agent's job, right? Like Giannis doesn't need to get in the middle of this. That's how it gets sloppy when he starts demanding a trade, where he starts publicly saying things. Like he's given everything to this franchise, to this city. There's no reason this needs to be a messy breakup. That is the agent and the manager's job for Giannis, which sounds like they are taking good control of the situation because like I said, this guy's loved there. He loves the city. He loves the organization. At the end of the day, it's just not a championship level team. And Giannis is a top 3, top 5 NBA player in the world. He wants to maximize his prime right now, and it probably isn't in Milwaukee. Fans might have a hard time understanding that, but deep down, they know that. They know he deserves better. God, they want him to stay here. They want to build the team around him and construct another championship team like they had before. But this year is not that. So it's his agent's job to kind of keep this from getting out of control and keep this being like a media publicity thing.
Boogie, sorry, Beast, cut you off. Boogie and Chandler, I want to ask y'all this. I saw it in your face. I want to ask y'all this as players. Like, are we in the era now that if you go 2 or 3 years and don't win a championship and you're a superstar player, then you're out? Like, what happened to fighting? This is not even about Giannis. This is a general question. Like, what happened to fighting it out and figuring out, look, this is my legacy. This is where I'm staying. This is where my legacy is built. I'm gonna deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly of that situation. Are we done with that era? And if I can't get a chip, then I'm out. Are we done with that?
I think we are. And I think that's just, you know, where time is in sports now. Everything is about fast results. That's why you see teams being built overnight to where, you know, they might not have been as good the previous year, but now this year they're championship contenders just because they went and put a bunch of names together. But also with that being said, they put these teams together. There's no camaraderie, there's no chemistry, there's no flow to the team, and year after year. For instance, the Clippers. It's this. I think this is just the times that we're in. Everything is about fast results, and that's just not how teams are built. That's not how sports work. It's about building relationships. It's about building chemistry, building trust. It takes years and years of that. You think about it as if, you know, it's in a relationship with a girl. Like, it takes years and years to know this person, to trust this person, to make this relationship work. So I think that's something that's, you know, kind of went left when it comes to sports. I don't know if it's because of the social media era. I don't know what it is, but everything is about quick results now. And that's just not how sports work. So I think that's just, you know, I blame it on the time that we're in.
Yeah, it's definitely a what have you done for me lately? And they've got one championship since 2013 that he's been there. And that's kind of the peak. And they've reached that pinnacle and they haven't been close to getting back to it really soon. So I think when you look at a guy of his resume and, you know, 2-time MVP, 9-time All-Star, like all defensive team, all NBA, like it's one of the greatest players, greatest power forwards of all time. At what point is it that he's done all he can do in this situation too would be the counter to that. So I think we are in the era where, especially if you're a star player, you have all the leverage. And if you have the respect and kind of the relationship that Giannis does, I think he deserves that level of trust and honest dialogue to have to you know, get him to a situation where he's not miserable. So it is weird, and it's definitely a players' league, but it's like Boogie said, it's such a what have you done for me lately league that no one's thinking about that championship Milwaukee won with Giannis and Chris Middleton. They're thinking about right now that they're fighting for a play-in spot with one of the best players in the world.
Boogie, you are, by the way, you are right. I mean, if you think people get married 3 weeks later, and then they're divorced this is just the world we live in. We're idiots. And we want instant gratification. And what I think about this is the Brian Windhorst part of it all. And Wendy was all over the place on this story yesterday, because he's saying that Giannis will be, quote, instructing the Bucks where he wants to play, and that they're going to make the best deal. Now, at the end of the day, they obviously are going to do what's best for them. But if you watch this show, it's been about a couple seasons now that we've been saying he wants to be a New York Knick. Last summer, people started to really start talking about that. I don't know. Let's start with you, Boogie. Do you think the Knicks, obviously it would be fun and it would be awesome to watch, but is that the best spot?
I mean, I don't know necessarily what's the best spot for Giannis. I mean, I feel like any team that he joins has a chance, obviously outside of the Milwaukee Bucks. But, whatever team he does go to this season is going to take a lot away from that team. So as far as it being a championship season, the moment he joins the team, I don't know. That's tough to, kind of guess on or speculate on. But, everybody knows Giannis's value. Everybody knows once he's a part of your organization, you're now competing for a championship. I mean, I don't think it's a team in the league that wouldn't, throw in some sort of offer to try to, get this down there on their team. So with that being said, Giannis is great. He's going to continue to be great. Whatever situation he ends up in, I think it can become a positive situation. We've mentioned all these teams, the Knicks, the Lakers, but even a team like Miami, I could see him fitting there and turning into a great situation with their culture, with their history, with Spoelstra at the head of the realm. It's so many potential spots I could see him going and having that type of impact. So what's the perfect situation? I think any situation he ends up in can become that. It just depends on where. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, listen, we're talking about one of the better players in the NBA still at 30 years old, and I don't care that he makes $54 million. 54 million, then 58 million, then a player option for 63 million at 32, 33 years old. I don't care. This guy, when he's healthy and when he's on the floor, he makes any team better. And I'm all in on New York. I think as good of a season and team they have now, I don't think they're a championship level team. I don't trust them to go win a championship as constructed now. You add Giannis on that team with Jalen Brunson, and you manage to keep an OG or a Bridges or a Cat to one of those three. Now I think you got better as a team, and I think you have real championship aspirations. So I'm not sure the pick situation that they have. I know they just traded their first round pick, but it's going to take a lot to get him. But I do like the fit with him and Jalen Brunson. There's the young teams like Houston and San Antonio. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm almost more interested in, because that gives me a level of a potential star while still being a competitive in the Eastern Conference coming up. But I don't hate the moves to the Knicks. I think it would be great for Giannis. I think it'd be great for the NBA to see a player of his level at Madison Square Garden every single night.
Agree.
Yeah.
I did like the reports. What Spurs say Spurs?
No. no race mistake today. But you know what? I like the Miami idea. If you can keep Bam there, maybe Tyler Hero or Norm Powell, if you're able to keep, one or two of those pieces right there, you got a three right there that I feel culturally, mentally, how these guys go about business and how they compete. You might have the right mindset down in Miami, down in South Beach, where you can make some real noise in the Eastern Conference if you add Giannis to that. New York is another one that makes sense as well. The bright lights and obviously Giannis he's starting to be more of a public figure, doing commercials and doing those things and embracing that side of what comes with sports entertainment. So New York is another one, but I like New York. I like Miami. One of the two of those will work for me as far as Giannis is concerned.
Yeah, and
look at you guys. Look at you snobs. New York and Miami. Oh, it's a stretch.
Listen, San Antonio, I like the move for both. Like I said, it gives Milwaukee that hope and future stars. But I'm getting Harper or I'm getting Castle on that trade. And then you're also giving me picks, and you're also giving me Vassell, Sohan, or Keldon Johnson. Dang,
dude.
I'm saying I'm getting a lot. I'm getting the majority of those things I just said. Okay, and the Spurs are one of the teams that have those attractive assets where Milwaukee might be like, you know what? All right, I can get back 3-4 starters and some potential picks.
Yep.
If I'm Milwaukee, I'm interested in that. But
I mean, we did wake up to reports about them going that the Spurs were going to be aggressive on this. So
the idea of Giannis and Wemby together is insane.
Man, you guys,
how you feel about that, Beta?
Can I tell you right now what I'm looking at on the other side of my room that I'm in right now is all my Fiesta Spurs like starter jackets and stuff. I'm going to wear all of them all the time. You guys, you're gonna hate me. I got a whole shelf of this stuff.
They got Giannis.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I just jinxed it. All right, moving on to the Giannis thing, by the way, because we're not done. Because on top of all of what is going on yesterday, to make everything just seem that much worse and dramatic, he actually leaves the game, non-contact injury. Those are the words you never want to hear because when it's non-contact, it just seems like it's never good. We don't know the severity yet, but I'll start with you, Boogie. What does this mean against this backdrop of everything else that we've just talked about? And now you've got an injury, don't know how bad. What does it mean?
Nothing. I mean, It's still Giannis. Team still want him. The Bucks are still suck this season. Nothing changes. So
okay.
That's my answer. Nothing changes. It's not going to stop a team from should we trade? Nothing comes from this.
Yeah.
If anything, by the time this trade does happen, you'll have a Giannis that's fresh and healthy, and he'll come in ready to play. But like I said, this changes nothing.
Yeah, nothing changes, especially if it's just a calf strain, and we understand that it's just a calf strain, and it hasn't led to an Achilles, and they were able to catch this early. You know, it looks scary. The optics look crazy, but it was good to just see that it was a calf strain. I'm sure today, usually the protocol is he'll probably get an MRI today, get everything checked out, and then we'll get an official diagnosis later on in the day. So hopefully it remains the right calf strain, and that's where we are. And if that's what it is, we're talking about, 2 or 3 weeks. But those teams, if that's the issue, those teams are going to continue to call. They're going to continue to reach out, see what they can get for Giannis, or if they can make something happen. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, if nothing happens, I feel good about having him still in the lineup after this is all said and done. So I agree with Boogie. Nothing changes besides the fact that he won't be in the lineup. They're probably going to get worse, or we'll see what happens with this team in his absence. But from there, as far as the trade and all that stuff goes, I'm with Boogie on this. Nothing changes.
Yeah, as far as the trade, this means nothing. It's not like his value goes down if he's out a month, and he ain't rushing back. I'll tell you this: we don't know the severity. We don't know the severity of this injury. It didn't look like much, but the non-contact injuries, those are the